Stop everything and pay absolute attention, because what I'm about to teach you tonight is the most practical, most immediately applicable, most visibly effective technique for breaking your paradigm and shifting your reality that has ever been discovered. It's elegantly simple. Pretend that you already have what you desire, and then watch your reality shift to match your pretending. Not hope it shifts, not wish it shifts. Actually, watch it shift in real time, in observable ways, in measurable changes that you can document and verify. Tonight, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this technique, exactly what to watch for, and exactly how to accelerate the reality shift so that you see results not in months or years, but in days and weeks. Before we dive into the mechanics of this paradigm-breaking technique, I need you to make a public commitment. Leave a comment right now with these exact words: I pretend, and I watch my reality shift. This is not just engagement. This is your contract with yourself and with the universe. This is your declaration that you're going to actually do this technique, not just learn about it, and that you're going to pay attention to the shifts when they happen. Write it now. I pretend, and I watch my reality shift. Feel your awareness sharpening as you write those words. That's your consciousness preparing to observe what most people miss. Now let me explain the profound simplicity of this technique and why it works so devastatingly well. Most manifestation teachings make the process complicated. They give you elaborate visualizations, complex rituals, lengthy processes. And while those things can work, they often create a barrier to entry that stops people from ever actually implementing them consistently. Bob Proctor's genius was in simplifying the process down to its absolute essence. Pretend you already have what you desire. That's it. That's the technique. But the second part is equally critical. Watch your reality shift. The watching is what most people miss. They might pretend for a while, but they don't pay attention to the shifts that start happening immediately. They don't notice the small changes, the synchronicities, the opportunities, the internal shifts. And because they're not watching, they miss the feedback that would reinforce their practice and accelerate their results. They give up before the major shifts happen because they didn't see the minor shifts that were already occurring. So this technique has two equally important parts: pretend actively and watch carefully. Let me break down each part in detail. First, pretending. What does it mean to pretend you already have what you desire? It means you adopt the internal state, the thoughts, the feelings, the behaviors, the energy of someone who already possesses what you desire. Not someone who is hoping for it or working toward it or trying to get it. Someone who already has it. This is critical. You're not pretending to be someone on the journey to your goal. You're pretending to be someone who has already arrived. How does someone who already has what you desire think throughout the day? What thoughts run through their mind? What is their internal dialogue like? How does someone who already has what you desire feel emotionally? What is their baseline emotional state? How do they feel when they wake up in the morning? How do they feel as they move through their day? How does someone who already has what you desire behave? What actions do they take? What decisions do they make? How do they carry themselves physically? How do they interact with others? When you pretend correctly, you're not just thinking about having what you desire. You're not visualizing it from a distance. You're actually being the person who has it right now, in this present moment. You're inhabiting that identity completely. You're thinking their thoughts, feeling their feelings, behaving their behaviors, embodying their energy. This is what pretending means in this context. It's total embodiment of your fulfilled self. And here's why this works at such a fundamental level. Your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your reality creation, cannot distinguish between something vividly pretended and something actually experienced. When you genuinely pretend, when you fully embody your fulfilled self with enough detail and emotion, your subconscious accepts this as your actual current reality. and your subconscious then begins to generate thoughts, feelings, and impulses that are consistent with that reality. It begins to filter your perception to see opportunities that match that reality. It begins to emit a vibrational frequency that attracts circumstances and people that match that reality. But here's where the magic really happens, and this is what Bob Proctor emphasized again and again. As soon as you start pretending with genuine commitment and embodiment, your reality begins to shift immediately, not eventually, not after some waiting period. Immediately. The shifts might be subtle at first. They might be internal before they become external, but they're happening from the very first moment you start genuinely pretending. And this is where the second part of the technique becomes crucial: watching. If you haven't already, write in the comments now, "I pretend and I watch my reality shift." And if this technique is resonating with you, if you can feel its power and simplicity, subscribe to this channel right now and like this video. Because what I'm teaching you is not theory or philosophy. This is a practical technique that produces observable results. This is how reality actually works. Now let me teach you exactly what to watch for and how to watch so that you recognize the shifts as they're happening. This is critically important because recognizing shifts reinforces your practice, strengthens your belief, and accelerates the manifestation process. When you notice a shift and acknowledge it, you're telling your subconscious, yes, this is working, keep going. And your subconscious responds by creating more and bigger shifts. There are 7 types of shifts to watch for. I'm going to explain each one in detail so you know exactly what you're looking for. Master the art of noticing these shifts, and you'll never doubt the power of this technique again. Shift Type 1. Internal thought pattern shifts. The first shifts you'll notice are in your thought patterns. Within the first 24 to 48 hours of genuinely pretending you already have what you desire, you'll start to catch yourself thinking thoughts that you wouldn't normally think. Maybe you've always thought, I can't afford that. And suddenly you catch yourself thinking, I could actually do that. Maybe you've always thought, that's not possible for me. And suddenly you catch yourself thinking, why not me? These might seem like small shifts, but they're actually profound. These are signs that your paradigm is beginning to crack. Your old automatic thought patterns are starting to weaken. New thought patterns aligned with your desired reality are starting to emerge. Pay close attention to these shifts. When you catch yourself thinking a thought that represents your new reality rather than your old reality, pause and acknowledge it. Say to yourself, there it is. My reality is shifting. My paradigm is changing. Most people miss these shifts because they seem so subtle or because they dismiss them as just random thoughts. But they're not random. They're evidence that your subconscious is beginning to accept your pretending as real and is starting to generate thoughts consistent with your desired reality. Document these thought shifts. Keep a journal where you write down every new thought pattern you notice. Over the course of a week, you'll be amazed at how many shifts are happening at the thought level. Shift Type 2, emotional frequency shifts. The second type of shift you'll notice is in your emotional state. Your baseline emotional frequency will begin to change. Maybe you've been chronically anxious and you notice moments of unexpected calm. Maybe you've been feeling heavy and you notice moments of unexpected lightness. Maybe you've been feeling lack and you notice moments of unexpected abundance consciousness. These emotional shifts often happen spontaneously, without any external trigger. You're just going about your day, and suddenly you feel different. You feel more confident. You feel more peaceful. You feel more excited. You feel more certain. These are not random mood swings. These are your emotional frequency literally shifting to match the frequency of your desired reality. Your pretending is changing your vibration. And as your vibration changes, your emotions change, because emotions are the experience of your vibration. Watch for these emotional shifts carefully. When you notice one, amplify it. If you feel a sudden wave of confidence, don't just let it pass. Stop and fully feel it. Let it expand. Breathe into it. Anchor it in your body. Say to yourself, this is the feeling of my new reality. This is who I'm becoming. By noticing and amplifying these emotional shifts, you're training your nervous system to make this new emotional frequency your new baseline. You're literally rewiring your emotional body. Shift Type 3, behavioral and decision-making shifts. The third type of shift is in your behaviors and decisions. You'll start to notice yourself naturally making different choices than you would have made before. Maybe you would normally avoid a difficult conversation, but suddenly you find yourself initiating it. Maybe you would normally play it safe, but suddenly you find yourself taking a calculated risk. Maybe you would normally say yes to something that doesn't serve you, but suddenly you find yourself saying no with ease. These behavioral shifts are incredibly important because behavior is where your internal reality meets your external reality. When your behavior changes, your external circumstances must change because circumstances are created by behavior. Watch for these shifts closely. When you notice yourself making a decision or taking an action that the old you wouldn't make, pause and acknowledge it. This is the new me. This is the person who already has what I desire. This is my new paradigm expressing itself through my behavior. Don't force these behavioral shifts. Let them emerge naturally from your pretending. When you're genuinely embodying your fulfilled self, your behavior will automatically align without effort. But do notice when it happens, document it, celebrate it, because each behavioral shift is concrete evidence that your reality is transforming at the action level. Shift Type 4, physical and postural shifts. The fourth type of shift, and one that many people completely miss, is in your physical body and posture. Your body language will begin to change. Maybe you've been walking with your head down and shoulders hunched, and you suddenly notice yourself standing taller. Maybe you've been speaking quietly or tentatively, and you suddenly notice yourself speaking with more volume and clarity. Maybe you've been avoiding eye contact, and you suddenly notice yourself making natural, confident eye contact. These physical shifts are significant because your body and your mind are intimately connected. When your mind shifts, your body shifts. And conversely, when you notice and amplify physical shifts, you accelerate mental and emotional shifts. Your posture literally affects your neurochemistry. When you stand tall and open, your brain produces different chemicals than when you stand collapsed and closed. So watch for physical shifts carefully. Look at yourself in mirrors. Notice how you're holding yourself. Notice how you're moving through space. Notice the energy you're projecting. When you catch yourself embodying the physical presence of someone who already has what you desire, acknowledge it. Amplify it, make it conscious. This accelerates the shift from pretending to being. Shift Type 5, synchronicity and opportunity shifts. The fifth type of shift, and this is where things start to get really exciting, is in external synchronicities and opportunities. You'll start to notice meaningful coincidences. You'll think about someone and they'll contact you. You'll need information and it will show up unexpectedly. You'll have a question and the answer will appear. You'll need help and the right person will show up at the right time. These are not coincidences. These are your reality literally reorganizing itself to match your new vibration. When you pretend you already have what you desire, you're emitting a specific frequency, and the law of attraction responds to that frequency by bringing you people, circumstances, information, and opportunities that match it. The synchronicities are evidence that your frequency has changed and reality is responding. Watch for these carefully, because they're easy to dismiss as mere coincidence if you're not paying attention. When a synchronicity happens, stop and acknowledge it. This is the universe responding to my new frequency. This is reality shifting to match my pretending. The more you notice and acknowledge synchronicities, the more frequently they occur. It's like you're training reality to communicate with you more directly. Keep a synchronicity journal. Every time something meaningful and unexpected happens, write it down with the date. After a week, you'll have pages of documented evidence that your reality is actively shifting. This documentation is powerful. It builds your faith. It strengthens your commitment. It proves to your logical mind that this isn't just imagination. It's actual observable reality transformation. Shift Type 6. Relationship and social dynamics shifts. The sixth type of shift is in your relationships and social dynamics. People will start responding to you differently. Some people will be drawn to you more strongly. Some people will pull away. New people will enter your life. Old relationships will shift or end. This is natural and necessary. Your new frequency attracts people who match it and repels people who don't. Watch for these relationship shifts without judgment. If someone pulls away from you after you start pretending, don't take it personally. It just means your frequencies are no longer compatible. They're resonating with who you were, not who you're becoming. Let them go with love. If new people suddenly appear in your life, pay attention. They're likely there to support your new reality in some way. Also notice how the same people respond to you differently. Maybe people who used to dismiss you start taking you seriously. Maybe people who used to dominate conversations start asking for your opinion. Maybe people who used to ignore you start seeking you out. These are all signs that your energy has shifted and people are unconsciously responding to that shift. Shift type 7. Circumstantial and material shifts. The seventh type of shift is in your actual circumstances and material reality. This is usually the last type of shift to occur because physical reality has the most inertia. But when you've been genuinely pretending for days or weeks, you'll start to see tangible changes in your external circumstances. Money might show up unexpectedly, job opportunities might appear, health might improve, living situations might change, physical manifestations occur. These circumstantial shifts are the final proof that your pretending has become your reality. But here's what's critical to understand. These shifts don't happen randomly. They happen as a result of all the previous shifts. Your thought patterns shifted first, then your emotions shifted, then your behaviors shifted, then your body language shifted, then synchronicities appeared, then relationships changed, and finally circumstances reorganized. It's a cascade effect. Each type of shift leads to the next type of shift. This is why watching is so important. When you watch and acknowledge each type of shift as it happens, you're reinforcing the cascade. You're accelerating the process. You're moving from internal shifts to external shifts faster. Most people only watch for circumstantial shifts, and because those take the longest to appear, they give up before they happen. Don't make this mistake. Watch for all 7 types of shifts. Celebrate each one, and trust that circumstantial shifts are coming as the natural result of the cascade. Write in the comments again, I pretend and I watch my reality shift, and commit right now to becoming a master observer of these 7 types of shifts. This watching, this noticing, this acknowledging is what turns pretending into manifestation. Now let me give you the exact daily practice protocol for combining pretending and watching to create rapid paradigm-breaking and reality shifts. This is a systematic approach that Bob Proctor refined over decades of teaching thousands of students. It works because it's simple enough to actually do consistently, yet powerful enough to create profound results. The morning pretending practice. 15 to 30 minutes. Every morning, immediately after you wake up, before you check your phone or engage with external reality, you do your pretending practice. This is non-negotiable. The first thoughts and feelings you generate each morning set your frequency for the entire day. So you want those thoughts and feelings to come from pretending, not from reacting to circumstances. Sit comfortably or lie in bed. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths to center yourself. Then ask, who am I pretending to be today? The answer is the version of yourself who already has what you desire. Spend a few moments getting clear on this identity. See them in your mind. Feel them in your body. And then for the next 15 to 30 minutes, you embody them completely. Think their thoughts. What would I be thinking about right now if I already had my desire? What would I be planning? What would I be excited about? What would I be grateful for? Let the thoughts flow naturally. Don't force them. Just allow yourself to think from the perspective of your fulfilled self. Feel their feelings. How would I be feeling right now if I already had my desire? Would I feel peaceful, excited, confident, grateful, powerful? Generate those feelings deliberately. Breathe into them. Let them fill your body. See their day. What does my day look like as the person who already has my desire? How do I move through my day? What do I do? Who do I interact with? What energy do I bring to each moment? Visualize specific scenes from your day, but visualize them from the perspective of your fulfilled self. See yourself moving through your day with the confidence, ease, and power of someone who already has what they desire. The key to this morning practice is genuine embodiment. You're not thinking about being this person. You're not wishing you were this person. You are this person for these 15 to 30 minutes. You fully inhabit the identity, and then, when you open your eyes and start your day, you carry that identity with you. You don't drop the pretending. You continue it throughout your day. The throughout the day pretending practice, continuous. As you move through your day, you maintain your pretending as much as possible. This doesn't mean you walk around in a trance or ignore your responsibilities. It means you do everything you need to do, but you do it from the identity of your fulfilled self. When you're at work, you work as the person who already has what you desire. When you're with people, you interact as that person. When you make decisions, you make them as that person. When challenges arise, you respond as that person. This continuous pretending is what creates the sustained pressure on your old paradigm that causes it to crack and collapse. If you only pretend in the morning and then spend the rest of your day thinking and feeling from your old identity, you're not creating enough consistent pressure. The pretending needs to be as continuous as possible throughout your waking hours. Now, you will slip. You'll catch yourself falling back into old thought patterns or old emotional states. That's normal. That's expected. The practice is not about being perfect. The practice is about noticing when you slip and immediately redirecting back to pretending. Every time you catch yourself and redirect, you're strengthening the new neural pathways and weakening the old ones. You're training yourself to default to your new identity instead of your old identity. The shift watching practice, continuous. While you're pretending throughout your day, you're also watching for shifts. This is a parallel practice. You're embodying your fulfilled self, and simultaneously, you're observing what's happening internally and externally. This might sound difficult, but it's actually quite natural. It's like driving a car while watching the road. You're doing and observing simultaneously. Keep part of your awareness on the watching. Notice your thoughts. Is this a new thought pattern or an old one? Notice your feelings. Is this emotional state different from my usual baseline? Notice your behaviors. Is this choice different from what I would normally choose? Notice your body. Am I holding myself differently? Notice external events. Is this an unexpected synchronicity? Notice how people respond to you. Is this interaction different from usual? When you notice a shift, any shift of any of the 7 types, pause briefly and acknowledge it. You don't need to make a big deal of it. Just a simple internal acknowledgement. There it is, a shift. My reality is changing. This acknowledgement is powerful. It reinforces the shift. It tells your subconscious that you're paying attention and you appreciate what's happening, and your subconscious responds by creating more shifts. The evening documentation practice, 10-15 minutes. Every evening before bed, you do your documentation practice. Get out your journal or notebook. At the top of the page, write the date. Then create 3 sections: shifts I noticed today, challenges I faced, and tomorrow's intention. In the shifts I noticed today section, write down every shift you observed, no matter how small. Did you have a new thought? Write it down. Did you feel a different emotion? Write it down. Did you make a different choice? Write it down. Did a synchronicity occur? Write it down. Did someone respond to you differently? Write it down. Did anything unexpected happen? Write it down. Write everything. Don't filter. Don't judge what's significant or insignificant. Just document everything you noticed. This documentation serves multiple purposes. First, it trains you to be a better observer. The more you document, the more you start to notice. Second, it provides concrete evidence of your reality shifting. When you look back after a week or a month, you'll be amazed at how many shifts have occurred. Third, it reinforces positive changes. When you write down a shift, you're consciously acknowledging it, which makes it more likely to continue and amplify. In the Challenges I Faced section, write down any moments when you struggled to maintain your pretending. Maybe old doubts came up, maybe circumstances triggered old patterns, maybe someone said something that shook your confidence. Write down these challenges without judgment. They're not failures, they're information. They show you where your old paradigm is still strong and where you need to focus more attention in your pretending. In the Tomorrow's Intention section, write a brief statement about how you intend to show up tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will embody your fulfilled identity with even more consistency. I will watch for shifts with even more awareness. I will maintain my pretending even when challenged. This sets your intention for the next day and programs your subconscious overnight. The weekly review practice, 30 to 60 minutes. Once per week, typically on a Sunday evening or Monday morning, do a comprehensive review of your entire week. Read through all of your daily documentation. Look for patterns. What types of shifts are you experiencing most? Are the shifts accelerating? Are certain areas of your life shifting faster than others? What challenges keep recurring? What's working well in your practice? Then write a weekly reflection. Summarize the most significant shifts that occurred during the week. Acknowledge your progress. Celebrate your wins, even small ones. Identify any adjustments you want to make to your practice for the coming week. Maybe you want to extend your morning practice. Maybe you want to be more vigilant about maintaining your pretending. Maybe you want to focus more on a specific type of shift you haven't been noticing as much. This weekly review is incredibly powerful. It gives you a big picture view of your transformation. It allows you to see the trajectory of your shifts, and it keeps you motivated and committed because you have concrete documented evidence that this practice is working. Now let me address some common questions and challenges that people have with this pretending and watching technique. First, how do I know if I'm pretending genuinely enough? The answer is, if you're feeling the emotions of your fulfilled self, if your behavior is naturally shifting, and if you're starting to notice any of the 7 types of shifts, then you're pretending genuinely. If you're just intellectually thinking about your desire without feeling it or embodying it, and if nothing is shifting, then you need to go deeper in your pretending. Make it more real, more visceral, more embodied. Second, what if I watch for shifts but don't see any? And if you've been genuinely pretending for at least a few days and you're not noticing any shifts, it's not that the shifts aren't happening. It's that you're not watching carefully enough. Go back to the 7 types of shifts. Are you sure you're not having any new thoughts? Are you sure your emotional state hasn't shifted at all, even subtly? Are you sure you haven't made any different choices, even small ones? Almost certainly, if you look more carefully, you'll find shifts. They might be subtle, but they're there. Third, what if my circumstances aren't shifting, even though internal shifts are happening? This is completely normal. Internal shifts always precede external shifts. Your thoughts shift first, then your emotions, then your behaviors, and finally circumstances. If you're experiencing the first several types of shifts, but not yet circumstantial shifts, just keep going, keep pretending, keep watching. The circumstantial shifts are coming. They're the last domino to fall, but they will fall. Trust the process. Fourth, how long does it take to see major reality shifts? This varies depending on several factors: how consistently you practice, how deeply you embody your pretending, how strong your old paradigm is, and what specifically you're manifesting. Some people see major shifts within days or weeks, others take months. But here's what I can tell you with certainty. If you do this practice consistently for 90 days, you will experience undeniable reality shifts. Your circumstances will be different. Your life will be different. You will be different. Commit to 90 days and watch what happens. Let me share a specific example of how powerful this practice is when done consistently. I had a student who wanted to manifest a successful coaching business. She had been struggling for 2 years, working hard, but getting minimal results and barely making any money. She learned this pretending and watching technique. Every morning, she pretended to be a successful coach with dozens of clients and consistent income. Throughout her day, she made every decision from that identity, and every evening she documented shifts. In the first week, she noticed mostly internal shifts. Her thoughts were more confident. Her emotions were more abundant. She felt like a successful coach, even though her circumstances hadn't changed yet. In the second week, she started noticing behavioral shifts. She was reaching out to potential clients more boldly. She was pricing her services higher. She was showing up differently on social media. In the third week, synchronicities started appearing. She randomly met someone at a coffee shop who became a client. She was invited to speak at an event. Someone referred 3 clients to her. In the fourth week, her circumstances started shifting tangibly. She signed 6 new clients in 1 week, more than she had signed in the previous 6 months. Within 3 months, she had a full coaching practice and was making more money than she had at her previous corporate job. And it all started with pretending and watching. This is not an exception. This is how the technique works when you commit to it fully. The pretending changes your vibration. The watching reinforces the changes, and reality reorganizes itself to match your new vibration. It's law. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Let me give you some advanced tips to make your pretending and watching even more powerful. First, use environmental cues. Create physical reminders in your environment that trigger you to pretend and watch. Maybe it's a specific bracelet you wear only during this practice period. Every time you see it, it reminds you to check. Am I pretending right now? What shifts have I noticed today? Maybe it's a note on your mirror or your computer. These environmental cues help maintain consistency. Second, use time-based triggers. Set alarms on your phone throughout the day labeled pretend or watch. When the alarm goes off, stop whatever you're doing for 30 seconds and check in. Am I embodying my fulfilled self right now? Have I noticed any shifts in the last few hours? These regular check-ins dramatically increase your consistency and your awareness. Third, enlist an accountability partner. Find someone who understands this technique and commit to sharing your daily shifts with them. Maybe you text each other every evening with one shift you noticed that day. This external accountability and witnessing is powerful. It makes the practice more real. It gives you someone to celebrate shifts with, and it keeps you consistent even on days when you don't feel motivated. Fourth, amplify shifts when they occur. When you notice a shift, don't just acknowledge it mentally. Do something physical to anchor it. Maybe you clench your fist and say yes. Maybe you do a little celebration dance. Maybe you write it down immediately. This physical amplification strengthens the neural encoding of the shift and makes it more likely to continue. Fifth, create a vision board specifically for watching shifts. Most vision boards are about your desired outcome. This one is different. This one is about the journey. Create sections for each of the 7 types of shifts. As you notice shifts, add them to your board. Maybe you write them on post-it notes and stick them in the appropriate section. Over time, your board fills up with documented evidence of your reality shifting. This is incredibly motivating and reinforcing. Now let me share the deeper truth about why pretending and watching is so transformative. Most manifestation practices are future-focused. You're visualizing what you want in the future. You're hoping for something to happen eventually. This creates a subtle vibration of lack because you're inherently focused on what you don't have yet. Pretending is different. Pretending is present-focused. You're not waiting for the future. You're being now. You're having now in consciousness. This shifts you from the vibration of wanting to the vibration of having. And having attracts more having. The watching component adds another layer of power. When you watch for shifts, you're training your consciousness to focus on what's working, what's changing, what's manifesting. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, reality grows. By focusing your attention on shifts, you're amplifying them. You're telling the universe, yes, more of this. And the universe responds by giving you more to watch, more to celebrate, more evidence that your reality is transforming. This is why this technique is so fast and effective. You're not waiting or hoping. You're being and observing. You're pretending now and watching now. And this present moment focus collapses time. It accelerates manifestation. It breaks your paradigm faster because your paradigm is built on the past. And you're refusing to live in the past. You're living in the new reality right now through your pretending. And you're watching that new reality emerge right now through your observation. Let's do a powerful practice right now to activate your pretending and watching capabilities. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Now ask yourself, if I already had what I desire, how would I feel right now in this moment? Don't think about it, feel it. Generate the feeling. Maybe it's relief, maybe it's joy, maybe it's peace, maybe it's excitement. Whatever the feeling is, create it now. Amplify it. Let it fill your entire body. This is pretending. You're feeling now what you would feel then. You're collapsing time. Now, as you're feeling this feeling, notice what else shifts. Do your thoughts shift? Does your breath shift? Does the tension in your body shift? Does your sense of possibility shift? Watch carefully. Notice everything that changes when you generate the feeling of already having. This is watching. You're observing the shifts that happen in real time when you change your frequency. Open your eyes. Remember this feeling. Remember this state. This is what you're going to pretend throughout your day. This is what you're going to watch for. Take a final deep breath. Place your hand over your heart and make this commitment. I commit to pretending I already have what I desire. I commit to embodying my fulfilled self continuously. I commit to watching carefully for all shifts. I commit to documenting what I notice. I commit to celebrating every shift. I commit to trusting the process. I pretend and I watch my reality shift. This is who I am now. Feel that commitment anchoring into your being. Feel the certainty of it. Feel the power of it. This is not just a practice you're going to try. This is a practice you're going to master. This is how you're going to break your paradigm and transform your reality. Tonight, start your evening documentation even if you haven't done the morning practice yet. Document any shifts you've noticed today, even before learning this technique. Tomorrow morning, begin your first official morning pretending practice. And then watch carefully, watch consistently, watch with curiosity and excitement. Because your reality is about to shift in ways you can't even imagine yet. This is the paradigm-breaking technique. This is how you go from limitation to freedom, from lack to abundance, from hoping to having. Pretend you already have it. Watch your reality shift. It's that simple and it's that powerful. Remember, you pretend and you watch your reality shift. Now go live it. Good night and get ready to witness miracles.